And I remember
right? Like,
I heard this woman the next aisle over, and the statement she made was, if he thinks that his daughter, okay, so whenever you hear his daughter, that woman is usually the ex-wife. I mean, there's like code that we stepmoms use.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, that woman is a stepmom.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Family Care Learning Podcast. My name is Brandon Jones. I'm one of the clinical directors with Arizona Family Counseling and Christian Family Care. We are in the last podcast, so the 6th podcast, reviewing the Developing a Healthy Merged Family. And so we've been going through this merged curriculum, so a curriculum really for step families, for blended families. And we're on the final letter of merge, E, which stands for encourage.
Right.
And so, Steve and Deanna, can you share a little bit about what the E is about?
Sure, absolutely. I like to think of it kind of as concentric circles, right?
Okay.
So we look at 3 aspects of sharing our story. And we did, we kind of talked about this a little bit in the very first podcast, and we talked about how, we kind of compared it to sharing our faith and how it encourages us the more that we share, and how it can encourage us within our step family when we're encouraging others in their step families and kind of helping them along. Finding us that step family that may be a step or 2 behind you, and you kind of mentor and bring them along with you. That becomes an encouragement to them, but it also becomes an encouragement to us as well.
Yeah.
So we kind of look at those concentric circles. So basically that first circle is the sharing or the encouraging that we do within our own family. Right?
Yeah.
So that's husband, wife, our children, those that are affected by that particular encouragement.
Yeah.
But then there's also kind of going out to that next concentric circle would be kind of like those that are around us, extended family.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can have an effect on them as well in how we encourage and share our story with them. And then we kind of, the third place we take a look at is the community around us.
Yeah.
And sharing within that community about our step family.
Yes. So, when you say kind of sharing your story,
sure.
What kind of things do you share? Like, what is it? Kind of just the wins? Do you? Yeah. What does that look like?
Yeah, you got to share the good and the bad.
Okay.
I usually start with the ugly.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so funny because it's the ugly, that kind of gets people's attention. Sometimes, it's like, ooh, you're going to give me a juicy gossip story about your own family. I want in. My ears are peaked right now. Yeah. So if we start, I'll go ahead. I'll start with the core, within relationships. And part of that has to do with, we want to build, we want to kind of become role models within our families, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so we take a look, scripturally again, we look at different role models in the Bible and how they were role models. And then what are our takeaways from each of them? And how we can apply that to our lives and become better role models ourselves. Obviously, again, we're looking to Christ as the ultimate role model and the effect that he has on our lives and how we can in turn utilize some of those characteristics and affect our own family.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the first, that inner circle, the core of those concentric circles. And then the next 2, I'm going to let Deanna take.
So as we go outside from the center circle, we come to our immediate family, right?
Yeah.
So like Steve had mentioned in one of the podcasts before, my parents are still married. I'm not a stepchild. He did not grow up as a stepchild. Like he doesn't, we don't understand that from a personal level, right?
Yeah.
Likewise, because our parents never went through divorce, none of the 4 of them know what it's like to be a step parent or leading a family that is merged, right? And so my mom would have a real hard time with my stepdaughters because she would see them, because remember, our parents have been best friends for a really long time. So in my mom's perspective, the 3 older girls belonged to Suzanne. They were her granddaughters, but then the youngest one, because she came through me, belonged to me. Right?
Yeah.
So it's even being able to say, okay, but that's not the way we see it, Mom.
Yeah.
So giving her the opportunity to kind of have her own feelings about it, but also letting her know this is the path that we're taking, and this is how they're going to be treated, right?
Yeah.
And eventually, sadly, we lost Steve's mom about 2 years ago. And so the girls really were left without a biological grandmother on their side because they had lost their mom's mom prior to that when we were first married.
Yeah.
And so really the only grandma that's left would be my mom. And so I think now, because my mom's living through it, she's able to understand, wow, I'm like it for these girls, right? And so she has stepped up to the plate, and I'm very impressed with what she's done. And I think Steve and the girls have been very touched by her stepping up to the plate. So, I mean, you can always grow and develop, right?
Right, yeah.
Another place that I like to share our stories in the community. So imagine walking through Target, right? Like most moms, stepmoms, whoever do. It's just women go there, right? Women just go to Target.
Yeah.
Not the guys.
And I remember I heard this woman the next aisle over, and the statement she made was, if he thinks that his daughter, okay, so whenever you hear his daughter, that woman is usually the ex-wife. I mean, there's like code that we stepmoms use.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, that woman is a stepmom. I know it. I know it. So being the stalker that I am, I kind of like went around and watched, and she wrapped up her phone call. I'm like, I am so sorry, but are you a step family? Like, are you a stepmom? She's like, yeah, like, who's this weird woman asking me?
Yeah, Target, yeah.
Why are you asking me? I'm like, I am too. And in fact, my husband and I have these classes that we offer at a local church. I'd love for you to come and be our guest. And I know it is so not easy. And like, I used to go through that. And I had 3 teenage stepdaughters all at the same time. And they say those are the worst kind of stepkids to have when they're adolescents and female.
Yeah, right.
Truly.
Right, yeah, that's a challenge.
And so the woman ended up coming to the class, and brought her husband, and it made an impact. So you never know by sharing something in your story even to a stranger at Target that you think might possibly be a step parent or in a step family. What impact that's going to have. And then those concentric circles as they go outward, right? It's more like the pebble in the pond, and then we're not going to know until we get to heaven.
Amen. Yeah.
Like...
And I love, even as you're kind of thinking about it, right? Like those family members that are close, or right? It's like, for those of you just joining us and haven't caught all the other podcasts, right? We've kind of talked through the curriculum and all the work that you do leading up to this sharing and encouraging. And so I love the idea of kind of like, okay, just because you two know it because you've gone through this doesn't mean that everyone else that you love and care about kind of has that same mindset. And so you're really having to help educate them or kind of share, right? Yeah, like of like, hey, this is how we see it. Yeah. I know I didn't see that this way a week ago before taking this curriculum, but now this is how we're trying to do that. Mm-hmm. Come along with us with this, mother, stepmother, right? Or, mother-in-law or whoever is kind of going along. And so there's this kind of intentionality of sharing so that other people catch that on that side. That's right. That just makes perfect sense. And then as the circle gets bigger, right? Like sometimes it's just like I hear you, sister.
Yeah,
I know exactly what you're feeling. Maybe come check this out, right? Like, and so even I think some of those where it's like this sense of like, I'm going to help you out with the frustration, shame, and just kind of connecting and identifying. You're not alone, right? Is that kind of that message that I feel like so many times you have I think about like when my parents got divorced, we were in like a pretty, most of the people around us were not blended families. There, it was kind of the community and my school and everything. It just wasn't a big thing there. And so it was like, man, they probably felt pretty alone in some of that with very little as far as support. And just to have other people go, hey, I know what you're going through. Like what a powerful support of even just sharing, as you say, like the ugly or the good, the bad side of like, I know what you're feeling with that. And it's like that could be so empowering to like inoculate someone against shame with what they're going through. Mm-hmm.
So when you were a kid and you were in your merged family, I'm going to guess you had family portraits done at some point, right? Yeah. Did you have to explain the portraits?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like the normal families out there.
Right.
Nuclears.
the nuclear families
Yeah.
that are out there, right? They never have to explain their family photo.
Yeah.
We always do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so crazy to me. It's like, why would you not explain your family photo?
Right. Right. It's just something, right? Like it's like those little things that you have in common that are adjustments, right? And there's so many of those like minor adjustments that are going on because you're in a step family, a blended family. And to know you're not alone, to connect with those things, and people do this, right? They're like,
Yeah, exactly.
I know what
Yeah.
you're saying, right? Even that of just having that community together is so important and so helpful.
We like to have fun a little
Yeah.
bit with the classes too.
Yeah.
You know, and some of the classes we do little icebreakers and things of that nature.
Okay.
So one of the icebreakers that we do for one of the last couple of classes, I can't remember which class it is now, but one of the is we kind of play off of Jeff Foxworthy's "You Might Be a
Yeah,
Redneck
yeah,
If,"
yeah, yeah.
and we do a whole "You Might Be a Step Family If" take off of that. You know? Yeah, and it's like, I mean, just playing off of, you're talking about explaining the family photo,
Right.
And you have to, which others don't have to do that,
Right.
And I think one of the ones is if you and the dog are the only ones that share the same last name,
Names,
you
yeah.
You might be a step
yeah.
family.
Yeah.
Something about the mailbox too. Like if you've got like more than 2 last names on your mailbox. Yeah.
Yeah, you might be a step family.
We have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have to laugh. Because
Yeah.
there are situations that we've gone through. It's like I could sit there and cry.
Right.
And I have sat
Right.
there and cried before. But it's like, is that the best use of my time? Like,
Right.
I need to get it out. I want to connect with other people that understand me and then figure out how to move forward.
Yes.
Right. And
Yeah.
whether that is, having a therapist that understands step family dynamics,
Yeah.
whether it's being in a small group of other people that are also leading their own merged families. Those are my people. That's my tribe.
Yeah.
Those are the people I want to be with.
Yeah, they get you.
They
right?
get me, yeah.
And it's like, it's so empowering when you have people around you that get you. And so,
It really became a close-knit community too, because seriously, a lot of our closest friends, everybody that we have been able to interact with through 20 years of doing ministry to step families.
yeah.
I mean, we have developed such an incredible friend base, and we all still stay in contact. We all live in different states now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Doesn't matter, we
people are
visit each
spread
other.
out all over the
Yeah.
place. Texas, Tennessee,
Yeah.
Idaho, Arizona, California. Yeah. I mean, they're everywhere, and yet we all still stay in close community, and we all keep in touch with one another, and that's great.
I love that.
It's awesome.
I love that. Right. It's so interesting when you think about, Joseph and when he's talking to his brothers, right? And he's going, what was meant for evil, God meant for good.
Right.
And
Right.
that's kind of the saying that I keep kind of hearing as far as this incredible ministry that you two have developed and led, and this curriculum to really benefit so many of those families out there, so many of you out there. And so again, if you know a step family, a blended family that you care about, send them these links. I think this is just a teaser. We're so excited because we're going to be having a family care learning class that will be coming out hopefully soon, that will just really be a tool to kind of give to you on demand so that you can strengthen your family. And in the meantime, if you are a family that is struggling in any of the curriculum topics that we've covered, or that you're just needing some additional support, Arizona Family Counseling is here for you to really support you in strengthening your family, regardless of what phase you're in, regardless of what kind of things from the past or the future might be kind of creeping up on you today. We're here for you. And so check out the link below. We would love to connect you with a therapist that could support and strengthen your family. Steve and Deanna, thank you so much for sharing your time and just this gift of this curriculum that seems like God has just really led your lives in just sharing this with other people. Thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here, yeah.
We enjoyed it very much.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us.